Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome to Political Focus on Central Kentucky TV, Channel 6. Hello, everybody. I'm Kenny Fogle, and we're going to do our best to count down to the 4th of November. And the 4th of November, that's the day that you have your say. That's the day that you go to the voting booth and tell us who you want in many political offices. Today, we're talking about the Bardstown City Council. And with us today is Mr. Richard Nest, candidate for the Bardstown City Council. Richard, first of all, welcome to the show. Appreciate you coming here.
Well,
and secondly, tell everybody a little bit about Richard Nest. Who is Richard Nest?
Well, Richard Nest is a citizen of Bardstown, as you know. I've been here for 6 years. I come from Maine originally, and Bardstown is my new home, and I'm happy to be here.
So obviously, you know, and I asked you this before, is coming in from out of town. You've had other jobs in Maine. You've been involved with the city government and things like that in Maine before.
Yes, in Maine I was primarily planning board, though. I will admit that. Most of my time has been planning board. It has been working on special committees for town managers. So that's my background is planning board.
So how do you see that bringing that experience to Bardstown as being something that would make a difference?
I'm going to say absolutely, because as you know, when you interpret planning board, you have to interpret what is presented to you and do the best for the majority and interpret correctly. And I think that's what I bring to the table, is trying to interpret what is presented to us, read it carefully, and then make the right decision. Okay.
Well, somewhere in the last year or so, or maybe before that, since you've been in Bardstown, you decided, I want to be a city councilman. And somewhere there's a motivation for why do you want to be on the city council?
Well, I guess my motivation is it's my city. And since I think it's my city as well as your city, I felt as if I would like to represent myself and represent the other people, the other citizens in Bardstown.
What do you see as the biggest issues? I mean, what's going on in Bardstown that needs to be fixed or changed, or are things just going pretty much the way it should?
Well, as I sat down and I've talked with a number of people, as far as fixing particular problems, as you know, one person cannot really fix anything. If you talk about issues, if my biggest issue might be drinking water, but other people's might be signage. And they're all very important items for the citizens of Bardstown. So my biggest belief that I think I can do the best at is actually listening to the people, trying to make the decision that would fit the majority of them, and go from there. But once again, I have no specific axe to grind or anything. I just want to do a good job, be a good citizen, and work for myself as well as everybody else.
Well, a lot of things going on right now at the city council. A lot of people say, well, they're not getting along very well, or a lot of squabbling and debating up there. Well, some people look at that as a good thing. I mean, is it a good thing to have a lot of debate in city council, or is it a good thing to just maybe have a very cohesive team that works together? I mean, I know there's no right answer to that, but what do you think works best?
Well, you used a couple of words there. One is debating is good. I'm going to be quite honest with you. To debate something is real good. Squabbling is the word you use.
Yeah.
No, that's not good for the city of Bardstown. But to have debates, interpret, determine, and then base everything upon what you've digested that goes to everybody. It can't do everybody. Let's say 51%. I think that's what I bring to the table is taking it and know my dog is in any fight, so to speak, and that's what I'm looking to do. Okay,
obviously from your southern accent, I mean, do you feel like looking at the perspective from coming from another place makes a difference in Bardstown? Or like you said, you've been here long enough to feel like that you're a native now to some degree?
Well, native is a very strong word, but I will tell you one thing, I'm pot committed, because I sold everything I owned, and everything I do own is in my new home. And that's how I look at it. I'm pretty well committed as far as family and friends. I have to go back and visit them. These are my new family and friends, and that's...
Well, I'm always curious when somebody moves here as to now I'm born and raised in Nelson County, so this is basically home, but you chose to move here. There had to be a reason that you picked, out of all the cities in the United States, I want to live in Bardstown, Kentucky. There's got to have been a reason for that.
Well, I want to tell you the main reason why I'm here in Kentucky and Bardstown is two separate issues. One is 160 inches of snow in one winter is, I think I needed to get moved from that state to my new state, which is Kentucky. And on the other note, I was here in 2008, and I'll be quite honest with you, I met some very nice people in 2008, stayed an extra week, and on the 2-day drive, I was down here on vacation, on the 2-day drive back to Maine, I said, when I retire, I'm going to move to Bardstown, Kentucky. And that was because of the people. Mm-hmm. And luckily for me, the snow was 160 inches of snow, and I come down 6 years early. So
there you go.
I'm glad I did.
All right, and I'll get a couple of your interests here. I know obviously you served several years in the military, and now you're very active in the American Legion.
Yeah, I have done a lot at the post level. I've been post commanders, I've been adjutant, I've been finance officers. I primarily have done more in the American Legion than I have with, say, the VFW. I'm a member of the Vietnam Veterans Association. Mm-hmm. So I'm pretty active in that as far as benefits to veterans. So.
Well, I know you've been actively going door to door and visiting people in Bardstown. And do you see anybody with any? I know you said you don't have any real particular axe to grind, but do you see anybody out there that really does have a lot of axe to grind, maybe a particular issue that they just see overwhelming above and beyond everything else?
Well, it's not that I actually see it. When you talk to different people, you talk to them as far as, and I'm going to use that signing on it, so I'm going to keep going back to that. That is a big issue. At one time we had the occupational tax. That was a big issue. We had the smoking. That was an issue. So they're always going to come up from now until the end of time. Every administration is going to have certain issues that's going to come to the table. We can't always go back to certain issues because they're pretty much on the books. So what we have to do is see what the issues that are coming up. Don't worry about the past. Don't worry about what somebody else said to somebody else, and just interpret it and go forward. And I think that's the number one item that I would bring to the table is I don't want to look back. I want to go forward. I want to do something good. I want it to benefit everybody. And once again, I said benefit me as well, because this is where I'm at right here.
Well, we talk about the town and moving forward, and obviously one of the biggest issues is growth. Bardstown's growing every year. Is that something we need to find, maybe put a little control on, or is that something we need just to embrace and we know it's going to happen and just find a way to cope with it?
Well, I can't tell you who I'm going to quote this from, but I want you to know it's another person probably running for city council. But he went and said to me one time, and I have to agree with this, as you know, the first streets in Bardstown, Kentucky was only 4 streets. That was the legitimate. So from those 4 streets, we had the growth. And now we have downtown, etc. So I don't think we could ever stop not growing, because from 4 streets in Bardstown, Kentucky, we have constantly grown.
Well, we got a $40-some million budget, and that's obviously a huge budget. And if some people say, we need to raise more money and keep the budget growing, some people say we need to cut back on maybe services. And how do we handle a $40 million budget? Is that something that's I know you're in the financial business and your private business, and you probably understand that a little bit more than I do.
Well, I don't know if I understand a $40 million budget out of the clear blue sky, but again, a lot of people who have been on the city council, they've had a lot more information to look at and to digest. So to have someone that says, hey, I'm going to digest what comes before me now, I haven't seen it, so I don't know. But to ask that to somebody who's sat there and has looked at it for 4, 6, 8, 10 years, that's a very good question to them. And to me, who says, "Hey, I want to go forward," I'll look at the first budget and then try to make the decisions based upon
I
that.
understand. Well, Richard, I do appreciate you coming in today, and I guess now I'm going to give you an opportunity to just open it up and to say whatever you want to say to the voters of the Bardstown and before the 4th of November.
All right. Well, this is from me to you. I'd like you to know that I believe that we shouldn't move forward. I believe that it's not what I want. I've been going out talking with people, and I say, you shouldn't ask me what I want. I should be asking you what you want. And so what I'm asking, what I'm saying to everybody, I would like to be hired for the job. And so if what I say makes sense, if you have other questions, you can give me a call. But it's not what I want, it's what you want. And you want, hopefully, for me to interpret what is presented and to have it be best for the citizens as well as for the city of Bardstown.
All right, well, Richard, appreciate you coming in today, and
Thank
we
you.
appreciate you tuning in, because this is what it's all about, is we're working toward Election Day, and that's the 4th of November. It's your turn to have your say. It's your turn to vote, so if you could, show up on Election Day and do your best to pick the candidate you think is right. Today we have Richard Ness with us, candidate for City of Bardstown, and we hope him the best, and we hope you the best as well. So for all of us here at Channel 6 TV, Central Kentucky TV, this is Kenny Fogel, Political Focus. We'll be back with more candidates, more information. Stick around. We've got more to come. Take care, everybody.